Hello everybody, I'm getting this stuff together. It's my first time trying Strat-O-Matic on this board, especially in a live video, so I've got to try to get everything set up the way I think it will show up best. And I think that might be the best way to do it. I think that will just about do it. Let's see. I'm going to have to push this up just a hair, I think, to get everything to fit. All right. All right, I think we're just about ready to go here with this Demolition League game, 2015 style. I've been away from it for a while, back at it, and ready to go. This is the Seattle Mariners and the Houston Astros, and we are at week 16, or series 16, if you want to call it that. Series 16 is where we're at, and these are the games involved for Series 16. The Mets at Arizona, Cleveland at Tampa, San Francisco at Cincinnati, Boston at Philly, and tonight's game, Seattle at Houston. And as we look at the standings in the Demolition League, the reason I chose Seattle and Houston is because Houston is in 3rd place and Seattle is in 6th place. So that's the two highest seeded teams that are there. And so that's why that game was chosen. Let me make sure everything looks like it's fairly copacetic. All right, so after 45 games, Cleveland leads 29-16 with their record. They have a 2-game lead on the Mets, 3-game lead on the Astros, 4-game lead on Boston. So if the playoffs ended today, those top 4 teams would be in the playoffs. But you got 3 teams lurking: Cincinnati a game back, Seattle 2 games back, and Tampa 3 games back. Arizona probably not in it. They're 9 games back. So unless they really do something magical, they're not going to be in it much longer. All right. We are ready to roll. Let's go through the starting lineups very quickly. We have, as you can see them on the board here, the Astro lineup here, the Seattle lineup here, both benches, and the bullpens. Some notable additions and subtractions. Seattle has traded their closer, Fernando Rodney, to the Cubs, so he's no longer on the roster. And Guape, I think is how it's pronounced, is going to take his spot on the roster. For the Astros in their bullpen, they're left-handed. They're 2 left-handed guys. One was Sip, other was Thatcher, but Thatcher has already maxed out his use. But the Astros did acquire Oliver Perez from the Diamondbacks, so he is on there as well. And this is Hernandez, but that's really Fausto Carmona, who changed his name to Roberto Hernandez, so he's in the bullpen to help him out as well. All right. So I think we are ready to go. Got our dice, and they are Seattle Mariner colored dice, white, blue with the green D20. Hello, Mr. RJL. How are you? My first time trying Strat-O-Matic with this setup, so I have no idea if it's going to work or not. We shall see. And also, starting pitchers for today's game. Newly acquired from the Milwaukee Brewers, Mike Fiers is going to start for Houston, so he has no record whatsoever. And left-hander Vidal Nuno is going to pitch for Seattle. All right. So, like I said, I'm trying this as a one-time thing. I'm looking at the computer screen, and it looks like it's showing up fairly well. Let's see if I can push this up a little higher to make more room. I think we can get this in here. I don't know, you tell me, RJL, you're the expert. Does that look like it's halfway decent? We'll go with it. And of course, these holders do just as well for Strat-O-Matic as they do for Inside Pitch or anything else, so they're going to be used as well. And also, as RJL once mentioned also, by doing them in these holders, I can see the ratings right here. I don't need to write any ratings down because they're already visible to me. So we'll see how it goes. Now, what I will do on the board, since the board is vertical for these bases, is if anybody gets on base, I'm going to have their basic side up. so that you can see their name better and whatnot. But when they're batting, of course, I'm going to have their regular side up. So Vanel Nuno is your pitcher, and coming to the plate is Jose Altuve. And again, the Astros are in third place. In case you didn't see this earlier, RJL. After 45 games, Cleveland has a 2-game lead on the Mets, 3-game lead on Houston, and Seattle is 6 back. So they're not out of it, but they need to start doing some winning. So it's a huge game for Seattle at home. Wow, got them today already. That's amazing. That is definitely amazing. I can't imagine how many cards are in the 2022 set because they use an awful lot of players. Then again, he doesn't have to print pitcher hitting cards either anymore. So maybe that has something to do with it too. I don't know. All right. So we are underway. Again, this is Strat-O-Matic Advanced only. So not going to have any of the super advanced weather effects, clutches, or any of that stuff like that. So let me get my things here in place so I can see what's going on. Okay, we are ready to go. Jose Altuve stepping up to the plate against Mr. Nuno. It's a lefty on righty matchup. And that's a 110 for Altuve, and that's a single, straight out single. So first things right out the bat, Jose Altuve is going to grab himself a base hit. How about that? Now, Altuve to steal. He is a double-A stealer, and the basic side will say that as well. So he is a double-A stealer. And if we look at the chart for stealing, double-A starts at 17, -2 for being held is a 15, and the catcher arm in this case is Sucre. He's a -3, so that might put a little hesitation on there because he will drop now from a 17 all the way down to a 12. But they still may want to do it. So 1 to 12, I think they're going to send him anyway. I think they figured that it's about a 60% chance, so why not try it? 1 to 12, he's safe. And he's in there. So Jose Altuve, stolen base. He steals second base. And right away, the Astros are threatening without the use of trash cans. Hello, Mr. King Tuan Gaming. Thank you for joining. Second batter up for the for the Astros is George Springer. And again, since it's advanced only, we're not rolling the D20 and just check for balks or pickoffs or any of that stuff. We're just going to go straight ahead. Altuve will be held, obviously. Nuno, 2-3. So Springer against the lefty on a 2-3. That is going to be a fly to center. In super advanced, we'd split this out, and that would have been a hit on a 1 to 15. But in advanced, it's just a fly to center, and there's one away. And we'll put Springer back in his usual little spot. So 1 down, and that will send up Carlos Correa. Nuno to Correa, 3-4. Everything's off the batter cards all of a sudden. 3-4. And again, in super advanced, that would be a ballpark single check, but in just advanced, it's a ground ball to the pitcher. And with a B, that means the runner has to hold. So still stuck at second base is Mr. Altuve. 2 outs very quickly now, and here's Evan Gattis, the designated hitter. Nuno would like to get one off his own card if he could. He does not. It's a 111. It's going to come over to here, but it's a foul out to the catcher, Sucre, and Nuno survives. Nuno does survive. Let's put this back where it belongs here. All right, bottom of the first we go. Nuno was able to survive that leadoff single and stolen base, despite having every result off the batter cards. Not a single one came off his own card, but he was able to survive. Mike Fiers is your pitcher for the Astros. It'll be his first start as an Astro. He came over with Carlos Gomez to the Astros from the Brewers, and a little-known pitcher named Josh Hader was included in that trade. So you might think the Astros got the better end of the deal early on, which they did, but Milwaukee also was able to get quite a pitcher as well. All right, so Austin Jackson will lead things off for Seattle against Mr. Fiers. 3-3, and again we're off the batter card. 3-3, and that's a ground ball to short plus an injury. So right off the bat, we're going to need to check for an injury for Mr. Austin Jackson. So injury time right off the bat. We'll see what happens on the injury result. Batter injury. 1-3, he's okay. 1-4, he's okay. 5-6, he just misses the rest of the game. 7 or higher, he's going to miss extended time. That is a 14. He's going to miss 4 games. So he will miss the rest of this series, will Austin Jackson. Austin Jackson is going to miss the rest of the series, and Seattle will need a new center fielder. And the new center fielder is going to be Ketel Marte, switch hitting center fielder. So Jackson with the injury is out, and Marte is in. So Marte will take over going forward as the new center fielder. And he's a much inferior fielder. Jackson was a 3.0 E5. Marte is a 4 +2 E16. So they're definitely going to lose something there. They might gain something offensively, but they're definitely going to lose something defensively. No question about it. So Marte will take over. But 1 out, and that's going to bring up Seth Smith. Hello, Ron. How are you doing? Mr. Gardner, how are you? Haven't had a chance to catch the Digital Dice podcast yet, but I will catch that at some point, probably tomorrow while I'm working. Always enjoy you and Uncle Ron. All right, fires to Smith. That's a 5-5. Finally off the pitcher card for the very first time, and Mike Fiers gets a strikeout. Wow. So the pitchers take advantage of that with two quick outs, and that'll bring up Robbie Cano, second baseman. Robinson Cano. 5-10, and we're under the pitcher card. 5-10, that's a catcher X. Catcher X, Conger's not very good. He is a 3. 3 and a 3, so we'll check the catcher defense for 3 and a 3. And it's actually going to get a break here. It's a foul out, so we caught a break. It's a foul out to Conger, and that's going to end the inning. So nothing doing. We go to the top of the second, no score from Seattle. I believe it's called T-Mobile Park now. I'm not sure what it was called in 2015. Sponsorship keeps changing. All right, for the Astros, it'll be Chris Carter, not the wide receiver for the Eagles and the Vikings, but Chris Carter, the first baseman. He will be up to lead things off here against Nuno. 2-5 again off the batter card, and 2-5 is a home run chance, 1-16. It's not a ballpark chance. It's a straight out 1-16 chance. That's a 2. Kaboom! Chris Carter goes deep. All he does is hit home runs. Like they said about Chris Carter, the receiver, all he does is catch touchdowns. All Chris Carter does is hit home runs, and he has put the Astros in the lead 1-0 as he took that would-be Vidal Nuno curveball and deposited it into left field. And the Astros, don't know if he got a trash can banging to help him out with that or not, but he read the pitch and deposited it. Here's Jed Lowry. I'm going to tell you about a man named Jed. 1-6 against the lefty. That is a fly to center. 1 away as Nuno tries to recover and get things back to normal. And that'll bring up the center fielder, Carlos Gomez. He is the other man in that trade with Mike Fiers. Carlos Gomez from the Brewers. Nuno, 5-4 against a righty. That's a fly ball center field X. Center field, unfortunately for the Mariners, is now Ketel Marte, and he is a 4. 4 and a 7 is probably going to drop. 4 and a 7 will drop. It is a single. 4 and a 7 is a single. That would have been caught by Jackson, but he wasn't in there. He was hurt. So Carlos Gomez with the base hit due to the lack of range from the new center fielder Marte. All right, so Gomez will be held as an ace deal. He will not try to go anywhere because Sucre -3 arm is going to kind of keep him there. But he will be held. And here's Conger, who could be a double play candidate. We get a 5-7. Congress switch hitter batting right. 5-7 to strikeout. Didn't need the double play. Got the strikeout. That's out number 2. So 2 down, and that's going to bring up the number 9 hitter, Jake Marisnick. Normally the center fielder, but he's been pushed to left field because of the acquisition of Gomez. 6-6, and that is going to be a fly to right field. That's going to end the inning. Astros get a run on the home run from Chris Carter, and they take a 1-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the second. Injury for both pitchers. You need a 6-12 to check for injury, and that goes for both starting pitchers. They will need a 6-12. All right, let's look at the next batter for the Mariners. It is Nelson Cruz, the right fielder. It'll be Cruz, Seager, and Morrison due up for the Mariners. Against Mike Fiers, 4-4. Ground ball, third base X. That's going to go to the third baseman, Mr. Jed Lowry, and he's a 4 at third base, so not very good either. 4-20, though. He catches a break. 4-20, I believe, is okay for a third baseman. Let's find out for sure to verify. 4-20 is a ground ball C, so good enough. So Lowry was able to make that play. Nelson Cruz is retired. And that brings up Kyle Seager at third base. Lefty on righty matchup. Fires to Seager, 3-10. Ground ball to third, and a much easier play this time for Mr. Lowry. 2 up and 2 down. And that's going to bring up Logan Morrison, first baseman. Logan Morrison. If I had more room on the table, I'd get these cards out of the way from the dice tray, but I don't have enough room on the table, unfortunately, up here in the man cave. So Logan Morrison, the batter. 4-7, and that's going to be a strikeout by Fiers. And that's going to end the inning. So after 2 complete, it is the Astros 1 and the Mariners 0. And leading off for the Stros will be the top of the order, and Jose Altuve. He singled, stole second, but was stranded at second base back in his first time at bat. We get a 3-8 against a lefty, and all these hits in column 3, and he found the 8, which is a fly to left. So not this time for Mr. Altuve. He flies to left, put away out there by the left fielder Seth Smith. And that brings up George Springer. And RJL, I noticed that I haven't been at the your live games the last 2 nights. I've caught them on the replay. It seems like there's a lot of puns going on around there. I don't know if it's influences or not, but I've seen a lot of puns starting to come around. So don't know what the reasoning is for that, but I can fit more of this in here. I don't know if I'm wearing off or rubbing off on people or what, but seems that way anyway. Maybe it's just me. All right, here is George Springer. 2-6 against the lefty, and that's a walk. So George Springer will draw the 1-out walk. He is an ace stealer. Does he dare try it? Because the -3 from Sucre, and you do have Carlos Correa at the plate. Springer will be held. Does he try to steal? Let's see. Ace stealer starts as a 15, held as a -2 as a 13, and then -3 from the catcher is a 10. Springer on 1 to 10. You know what? They feel lucky. They feel froggy. They're gonna jump 1 to 10, and he made it. And since it's a 3, possible throwing error on Mr. Sucre. His T rating is a 6. 1 to 6. It's an 8. He does not make the error, but it will be a stolen base for Springer. And so despite the -3 arm, the Astros have challenged and worked out well twice for him. So now Springer will be held on second. Here's Correa with 1 out and a runner at scoring position. 6-10. 6-12 is the injury check from no problem there. 6-10. Ground ball to short. And it's an A, so runner has to hold. 2 down. So Springer stays in his tracks. 2 away. And that's going to bring up the designated hitter, Evan Gaddis. Gaddis popped to the catcher his first time up. Nuno, 2-4 to Gaddis, and he's going to fly to right to end the inning. So Nuno again pitches around potential trouble, leaves a runner in scoring position, keeps the score at 1-0, and keeps his team in the game. So we go to the bottom of the third, still a 1-0 ball game. And for the Mariners, it will be the bottom third of the order. Jesus Montero, the designated hitter. He's 1 for 4 on the season. It's his second game he's played since being called up. On the 15th season, he had 112 at-bats, hit .223 with 5 homers. So he does have some pop, especially that column 1 against right-handers. He can do it. Hello, Alex. How are you? Hello, Mike. Utah Mike Sports Time Machine. How are you guys doing? Bottom of the third, 1-0 Stros. Fires to Montero, 5-11, and that is a fly ball to left. If we were doing super advanced, we'd be checking ballpark, but we're not. It's simply a fly to left. And in this case, it would have been out anyway because the D20 was a 19, so even if we were doing super advanced, that still would have been a fly out. 1 down for the shortstop, Brad Miller. See if it's Miller time. 5-7 lefty matchup against Fires is the fly to center. So a fly to left and now a fly to center. 2 quick outs. And that'll bring up Mr. Sucre, the number 9 hitter, catcher. Mike Fires. 6-7 against the righty. That's a ground ball, second base X. That's going to be Altuve. And he is a 2 as a defender. 2-19, that's a good play all day long, and the inning is over. So 3 innings are in the books. We go to the 4th. Still 1-0 pitching duel here from whatever they called this park in 2015. I'm not sure what they, Safeco Field maybe? I think it was still Safeco Field back then. Not T-Mobile or whatever they call it nowadays. So Nuno's fatigue is a 5. And Fires is a 6. So Nuno's still okay in the 4th inning. He'll be facing the guy who took him deep, Chris Carter, responsible for the only run of the game with a solo home run. So Chris Carter going to step in. Yes, it does, Sports Time Machine. I can't keep Robert from copying me, but, you know, what are you going to do? Can't copyright things, so he just has to, you know, I just have to live with it, I guess. Hello, D. Scott Howard. How are you doing? You've been warned about it. Okay, well, no telling. Anything's liable to happen. Tabby is here, but she's quiet for now, so hopefully she'll stay that way. Nuno to Carter, trying to avoid a second fate. 3-8. He does. He gets revenge with a strikeout. Or as RJL would say, struck him out. So... but I'll leave those calls to RJL himself. All right, here is Jed Lowry. 6'9", again, 6'12 with the injuries. 6'9's okay, but not necessarily for Nuno. Switch hitter batting right. 6'9 is a 1-7 home run. 8-20 is a double. That's a 13. It'll be a double for Jed Lowry. So Jed Lowry with a 1-out double. And again, the Astros have runners in scoring position. They've had it every inning. Nuno has been struggling each inning to keep the game from getting worse than 1-0. He's had to battle the whole time. Lowry will not be held as an E Steeler. Safeco Field, thank you very much. What'd you say, RJL? Who's zooming who? Or that was Aretha. Okay. Nuno, 6'8". And that's a fly to center, 2 down. So Gomez is out of there. And that'll bring up the catcher, Hank Conger. 2 outs and a runner in scoring position in Lowry, who is not being held. (1-9) against the lefty. Switch hitter, 1-9. Look at this, a 1-12 from Hank Conger's a home run. That's a 19. It won't be a homer, but it will be a double, an RBI double. And the Astros take a 2-0 lead as Conger replaces Lowry at second base. RBI double. He's not a very good catcher defensively, but he can hit, and that's why he's in there, particularly against the lefty instead of Castro. And it pays dividends right there with an RBI double. And that'll take us to number 9 hitter Jake Marisnick, Jake the Snake. 2-0 Astros now with 2 outs and a runner at second. 4-4 against the right-hander. That's a ground ball third base X. That is Seager. Kyle Seager is a 2. 2 and a 13 is probably an error check, but we'll double check it. Now, yep, it is an error check. So Seager's error rating is a 16, E16. E16 and a 6 for a third baseman. E16 and a 6 is a 1-base error. And there's Mr. Utah Mike's disclaimer about the advanced fielding chart producing a lot of errors. There's one right there, E5. It's going to put runners at the corners with 2 outs and flip the order over to a very dangerous Jose Altuve. So Altuve now has a chance to break the game open against Mr. Nuno, and now the Seattle bullpen might start to see some activity because they can't afford to let this thing go too much longer. And in fact, I don't even know how you pronounce his name, Guape is in the bullpen. Marisnick is being held on. He will not try to steal, but they do have to hold him as an ace stealer. Nuno 4-6 against a right-hander. 1-13 is a single. That's a 9. That's a base hit. 3-0 Astros. It's 1 star. So Marisnick will stop at second base. Altuve with an RBI single. And this could be the beginning of the end for Mr. Nuno. And that error has kept the inning going, and it's an unearned run. It's like maybe in some ways you can't blame Nuno, but he's got to pick up his teammate and get out of this stuff. Couldn't do it. And now George Springer is your batter. And I think Seattle, with the situation they're in, they're going to go to the bullpen. They're going to make the move to the bullpen. They can't afford to let Nuno struggle. They're already down 3-0. They're going to bring in this guy. And you can try to pronounce his name as best you can. Makal Guape. I'm not even sure how to pronounce that, but he was 0-3 with a 5.40 ERA in 27 innings pitched. He is a right-hander. So he does okay against righties, not so good against lefties. So Guape is your new pitcher. And Guape, it's his job to get out of this. But he's got a tough task with George Springer. 3-0 Astros looking to make it worse. Marisnick will be held on at second. Guape 4-8, and that's a walk, so he's going to load the bases. So now bases are full of Stros as the board gets very busy. And who's coming up now but Carlos Correa, the newest former Met, or potential Met, and looks like now a Twin, or going to stay a Twin, I guess. I don't know. Haven't been following it all that much, but I know there's some stuff going on with him. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Here's Correa. 3-7 for Correa. Ground ball to short. They'll go the short way with it. 6-4 for the fielder's choice to end the inning. And Guape gets out of it without any further damage, which is what his job was. And he did it. So kudos to Guape for that. Or Guape. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. I have to get ID Jester to tell me how to pronounce these names, I guess. Wapi? Is that how you pronounce it? Wapi? I guess the G is silent. So Wapi. Wapi. Okay. We'll go with that. Wapi. Whatever makes you Wapi. All right. So coming up now for the Astros is top of the order. Ketel Marte will get his first at bat since coming in for the injured Austin Jackson. Marte a switch hitter. Fires enjoying a 3-0 lead. 6-9 against the lefty, or switch hitter batting left, is a 1-6 triple, 7-20 single. That's a 19. It's a base hit. And there goes the no-hitter. So Ketel Marte leads off to fourth with the base hit. And down 3-0. He's not going to go anywhere. And Seth Smith is your batter. They will hold Marte as a B stealer, though, but he won't try anything down 3-0. Fires 211 to Seth Smith, and that's a 1-13 home run. That's a 19, though, so it's just going to be a fly ball to left field. So Seth Smith just misses one going deep. Not quite deep enough, one away. And that'll bring up Robbie Cano, second baseman. 2-8. 2-8 for Cano against the lefty. Ground ball second base A, but it's a plus sign there. And since they're holding Marte, that is a single 2 stars. So they take advantage of the drawn-in infield at halfway. They lose some range. Think inside pitch, you drop one on your range with that. So base hit. Cano gets the base hit, tries to keep the train moving, and it'll be a dangerous Nelson Cruz. He could tie the game with one swing of the bat, no doubt. Cano will not be held at second this time. Infield looking for the double play. 3-8, and 3-8's a strikeout, a huge strikeout there by Mike Fiers. 2 down, and now he has to get the dangerous Kyle Seager, lefty hitter, but he's dangerous. On 2015 season, he did hit 26 home runs, so he's definitely a long ball threat. 6-9 against the lefty. 6-9, 1-6 is a triple. That's a 6. It's a 2-run triple for Kyle Seager, and the Mariners have fought back to close the gap to 3-2. Kyle Seager, the man. A 2-run triple for Kyle Seager, and the Mariners got right back in this game, 3-2, and Fiers not too happy about it. That'll bring up Logan Morrison. 5-6 against the lefty. 5-6 is a line out to first. Carter snags it to end the inning, but the Mariners counter the 2 runs by Seattle with 2 runs of their own, and at the end of 4 complete, it's 3-2 Houston, and pretty much anybody's ball game. So Mr. Wape has a 2 for fatigue, so he can go one more inning. He'll be in there to face the designated hitter Evan Gattis to start the 5th inning. Hello, Larry. How you doing? I was mentioning that earlier, Larry. I don't know if you were here or not, but I would love to hear Mr. ID pronounce that name. All right, here is, and of course we all know about Gubaza from Mark Gubaza. It's Gubaza, according to ID. We all love ID though. He's a trip. He makes anything entertaining. All right, here is Evan Gattis. 4-6 for Guape against the righty. Ground ball second base X. That is Robbie Cano. And let's see, Cano is a 3. 3 and a 4. That might get through for a base hit. Let's take a look. 3 and a 4 is a single, 1 star. So base hit for Evan Gattis, as Cano was unable to reach it. Leadoff single for Evan Gattis, and that's going to bring up Chris Carter. He's homered and struck out, feast and famine. First time against Wape. Infield double play depth, Gattis not being held on. 3-8. 3-8 for Carter, struck him out. 1 down. Or as RJL would say, struck him out. I can't say it as good as he does, though. So I won't try anymore. All right, Jed Lowry. Comes a man named Jed. 4-5, switch hitter. And that's a walk. So Guape has walked another. He's walking like an Egyptian around here. It's another walk. 2 on, 1 out for Carlos Gomez. Carlos Gomez. 6-8. I forgot to check Guape's injury, so let me do that real quick. When I change pictures, I forgot to check the injury factor. Let's make sure Guape is not susceptible to any kind of injury. Guape. No, he's a 6'12", so he's okay. No problems. So 6'8" against a right-hander struck him out. So Carlos Gomez out on strikes, 2 down. And that's going to take it over to Mr. Hank Conger. Had that big 2-run double, or not a 2-run double, but an RBI double, I should say, his last time up. Wape trying to get out of this. 2-11 against a righty. 2-11 is a ground ball, first base C, and as Tim, Tribe fan, Clee baseball fan, pointed out a while back, he likes to use the C's to call it a 3-1 put out instead of a 3 unassisted, so we'll do that. We'll say he flips to Wape to end the inning. And we go to the bottom of the 5th, still 3-2, and I think that's going to be all for Wape. He did his job. No complaints there if you're the Astros. He certainly kept, or if you're the Mariners, rather, he kept the team in the game. All right, now Mike Fiers has a 6 for fatigue. We're only in the 5th, so he's still okay. And he will be facing the designated hitter, Jesus Montero. So Montero will be leading things off against Fiers. 6'9", and again, 6'12 is the injury factor, but 6'9", he could be injured like this. 6'9 is an in-home run chance, 1-16. That's a 15. It is gone. He's got normal power. Montero has just tied the ball game. Kaboom. He just tied the ball game, and Seattle has tied it at 3. And I won't do the RJL yay. I've got to leave some things to be RJL's all his own, so we'll leave those calls to him. All right, here is Brad Miller now, all tied up, and that gets Nuno off the hook. Now Fiers trying to get off the hook as well. 6-7 against lefty Miller. That's a ground ball, second base X. That's Altuve. He is a 2. 2 and a 13, I believe, is okay. Yep, it is. 2 and a 13 for a second baseman is a ground ball B. Good enough. 1 away. 1 down, and that's going to send us to the number 9 hitter, Sucre, the catcher. Not a very good hitter, not much of a threat. 2-9 for Sucre, and he's going to fly to left. That's 2 down. And the only reason I decided to do this live is because I knew RJL was taking the night off from his 1988 replay. So figured if I'm going to do a live one at night, this is maybe the best night to do it. So here's Marte. 4-6, switch hitter batting left. 4-6 is a strikeout. So Fiers gets out of the rest of the inning, but not before Montero ties the game with a home run. And we go to the 6th here in Seattle, tied at 3, and we need a new pitcher for the Mariners because Mr. Wape had used his 2 innings, and we don't want to push it. So coming up for the Astros, it'll be Marisnik to lead it off, bottom of the order, followed by Altuve and Springer, 3 righties. So the Mariners will also go to a righty out of their bullpen, and it looks like it will be Tom Wilhelmsen. So Wilhelmsen will get the call. And again, Fernando Rodney has been traded to the Cubs, so he's no longer on the roster. And that's where Wape was added. So right now it is Mr. Wilhelmsen. He will come in to start the top of the 6th in a 3-3 ball game facing Jake Marisnik. And the Astros have a lot of lefties on the bench because of the lefty starter. Now they've got the righties in the bullpen, and we might start seeing some pinch hitting. Maybe not right yet, but shortly. Wilhelmsen 1-6. Marisnik struck him out. So Marisnik out on strikes. 1 away, and that brings up Mr. Altuve. Hello, Mr. A. Joseph. How are you doing, sir? Thursday night baseball it is. There's no Thursday night football, so why not? Is this a demo game of a one and done? No, this is the what do you call it? The Demolition League season. We are at, in case anybody came in late, we are on Series 16. We're down here, Series 16. Seattle at Houston is the game I picked for this particular block of series. The rest of these I'll do offline, and then once we go to 17 and 18, depending on how the standings look is depending on what games I will choose to put on video. All right, so Altuve. 6-4 for Wilhelmsen. Ground ball shortstop X, that is Brad Miller. Miller is a 3. 3 and 18 is good play. 2 down. And they finally retire Altuve. 2 down, and that's going to bring up George Springer. 2-6 for Springer. That's a 2-out walk, and sometimes those 2-out walks can come back to bite you. Oh, and now Tabby wants to act up. Went through 6 innings, made it through 6 innings without any noise from Tabby, and now we finally get it. All right, Springer is an A Steeler. A Steeler starts out as a 15, -2 for being held to 13, -3 from the catcher is a 10. Springer on a 1-10. He already stole a base back in the third. They're going to try to steal another one, 1-10. And he does. So second stolen base, third of the game against Mr. Sucre, despite being a -3 arm. He's had the third stolen base against him. So the Astros looking to take the lead as they got a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. And Springer will have to be held on. 3-5 to Correa. It's a fly ball to left, and that's going to end the inning. So Wilhelmsen pitches out of the jam. And we go to the bottom of the 6th, still tied at 3. This is the fatigue inning for Mike Fiers. Wilhelmsen does have a 2 fatigue rating as a relief pitcher, so he will pitch the 7th as well. Coming up for the Mariners to lead things off, it'll be Seth Smith. Smith, Cano, and Cruz, heart of the order, 2, 3, 4, due up for the Mariners. And the Astro bullpen is active, as we do see a right-hander Pat Neshek, the side-winding lefty, is loosening in the pen. Now Fiers one in to Seth Smith, 1-8, ground ball to second, and handled easily by Altuve. 1 down. Smith is retired. That's going to bring up Robbie Cano. 6-2 versus a lefty is a split chance if we're playing super advanced, but in advanced it's just a fly to left. So 2 down. 2 up and 2 down. Fiers saying, don't take me out yet, I'm still good. And here's Nelson Cruz. He's 0 for 2. He grounded to third in the second inning and struck out in the fourth. 6-9. Again, 6-12 is the error chance, but again, 6-9 on Fiers is the home run chance. 1-16, and Cruz obviously has normal power. That's a 3. Kaboom! It's gone. Nelson Cruz, a solo shot, and the Mariners have come all the way back and now have taken a 4-3 lead on the Astros. No trash cans needed. That is gone. And now here is Kyle Seager. 5-3 against the lefty is a fly ball left field X. That is Marisnik, and Marisnik in left field. Excellent fielder. He is a 1. 1 and a 9 is going to go to his error check, I believe, for a left fielder. 1 and a 9 does go to his error check. His error rating is an E5. E5 and a 10 for a left fielder. E5 and a 10. This time is a fly ball. So no error this time, Mr. Utah Mike. He does make the catch to end the inning, but 6 innings are in the books, and all of a sudden it's the Mariners in front by the score of 4-3. And Mr. Wilhelmsen is now the pitcher of record for a chance to be a winner. Fiers will be done. He is done for the night. They will use a new pitcher in the bullpen for the bottom of the 7th. And with, let's see, 2 out of 3 lefties. They actually have a lefty in the pen. Their newest acquisition, Oliver Perez, is loosening in the pen along with Neshek. So they could go either way on that one. Right now, Evan Gaddis, the designated hitter, will lead off the top of the 7th. 4-3 Seattle. They have fought all the way back. 6-7. Ground ball second base X. That is Robbie Cano. He is a 2. I'm sorry, he's a 3. 3 and a 13. Might be good enough to sneak it by. 3, oops, wrong side. 3 and a 13 is a ground ball B. It's good enough. And Robbie Cano, not the best fielder in the world, but was up to the task on that play and gets the slow running Gaddis. 1 away for Chris Carter, first baseman. And keep in mind the Astros do have a lot of lefties on the bench they could call on if they need to. 2-6 for Carter against the right-hander Will Helmsen. Look at this, a 1-18 home run right here. That's a 2. Kaboom! Chris Carter has just tied the game with a solo blast, his second of the game. He has struck out twice and he's homered twice. Ultimate in feast and famine. But the Astros will take the strikeouts if they can get the home runs. We are now tied at 4. And now Mr. Will Helmsen maybe need a relief. Here's Jed Lowry. 4-11 against the switch hitter batting left. That's a fly ball left field X. Seth Smith, not that good. He's a 4. 4 and a 14. He might get lucky. A 4 and a 14 for a left fielder. He does not get lucky. That's a single. So he couldn't quite get to it. Jed Lowry will single. And now Will Helmsen may be in need of relief. There is bullpen activity for Seattle. Mr. Joe Beimel, a lefty, is loosening as quickly as he can. Right now it'll be the right-hander Carlos Gomez. Lowry will not be held. 3-5 against the right-hander. 3-5, struck him out. Big strikeout for Will Helmsen. And out number 2. So 2 down, and that's going to bring up the catcher, Hank Conger. He's a switch hitter. And he definitely has some good activity here against right-handers. But we're off the pitcher card. 4-4 against the switch hitter batting left is a catcher X. That is Sucre. Sucre is a catcher rating of 2. 2 and an 8. 2 and an 8 for a catcher. 2 and an 8 is actually just going to be a simple old pop-up. So Sucre makes the play. Hello, Appa Brian. How are you doing? Pops it up to the catcher, and that's going to end the inning. So tied all up here thanks to the home run from Chris Carter. And we go to the 7th inning stretch. Score tied at 4 apiece. Coming in for the Astros is the new pitcher, newly acquired from the Diamondbacks, Oliver Perez. So Oliver Perez, the lefty, will be on. Oliver Perez. He's going to come on and pitch in back of Mike Fiers, who went 6 innings and gets a no decision. Thanks to that home run by Carter, that took him off the hook. And now Oliver Perez is the pitcher record along with Will Helmsen. For Seattle, it'll be Logan Morrison to lead it off. Logan Morrison. Appa Brian, I'm not sure. I think, did you not do an extensive review of Fall Classic Baseball? Because I think I was watching one of your videos where you were, giving a critique on Fall Classic. Because I'm kind of sort of interested in trying it out. I don't know. A lot of people seem to rave about it, but RJL, it wasn't really for him. And so I don't know. I'm not really an Appa guy, but the Fall Classic seemed to have a lot of twists to it, and looks like it might be an interesting game. I don't know, but all right. Logan Morrison against Oliver Perez, lefty on lefty, 2-4, and that's a ground ball to short, 1 away. As Correa will toss over to Carter, 1 down, and that brings up the designated hitter Jesus Montero, and Montero went deep last time. Perez has to be careful. 3-6. That is a pop out to short. So he got up under it, and Correa puts it away for 2 quick outs. We go to Brad Miller, the 8th place hitter. Lefty on lefty matchup again. Yeah, I have seen Tony play a lot of it, and I've seen Anthony play some dead ball stuff on it. And I know RGL played a couple 86 games on it. ID plays on it, but he's mixed it with the computer, so sometimes it's hard to see everything on the cards. But yeah, definitely I've seen quite a few people play it. 3-6 for Miller against Perez. Lefty on lefty matchup. 3-6 is a strikeout. So Oliver Perez comes in, pitches a 1-2-3 seventh inning, and he's done. He's a one-inning guy. He's not going to pitch any further. But he did his job. He kept the score right where it is. We go to the eighth inning, tied at 4. And let's see about Will Helmsen now. He has gone 2 innings, so he will be lifted. And we'll get a new pitcher for Seattle. Coming up for the Astros, it's Marisnick, Altuve, and Springer. Let's see, it means they're going to probably go to another righty out of the pen. And they're going to go to Mark Lowe. Mark Lowe is in the pen, or on the team, I should say. Mark Lowe. And he's going to be facing Marisnick, Altuve, and Springer. But Marisnick is being called back. The Astros want offense. So Marisnick's a good defender, but lacks on the offensive side. And they're going to the bench. And they're going to pull out this guy, Colby Rasmus. Colby Rasmus will pinch hit and take over in left field. So Marisnick will now be lifted, and Colby Rasmus is your new left fielder. As they're looking for offense, and they're sacrificing the defense. Could be a questionable move, but in the eighth inning, the tie game, they want to try to find lightning in a bottle. Low the pitch, 1-4 to Rasmus, and he struck him out. So that didn't work, at least right away. Doesn't mean it won't work down the line, but struck him out. That's going to be 1 away, and flip the order to Altuve. Altuve is 2 for 4, 2 singles, and a stolen base. 6-8, and that's another strikeout. So Lowe comes in and strikes out the first 2 he faces. And that'll bring up Mr. Springer. (6-9). Let me see if that's an injury for Lowe. I doubt it. I think he had too many outings to be an injury factor that low, but I will, pardon the pun, but I don't think his injury is that low enough. So let's see. Lowe is, where are you, Lowe? There you are. He's a 6'12" also, so nothing going on there with the injury. 6'9", though, is going to be a ground ball shortstop X. That is Mr. Seager, and Seager is a 2. I'm sorry, not Seager. It's Miller. I don't know why I said Seager. Miller is a 3. 3-12 at short. 3-12 for the shortstop. It's going to go to Zarachek. So Miller, error rating is an E27. So that could be problematic. E27 and a 6 for a shortstop. E27 and a 6 is a 1 base error. So there you go, another error. Another error, E6. This one on Brad Miller. And Springer will reach. And they've stolen 3 bases off of Sucre already, despite his -3 arms. So they're going to try it again. They're going to press their luck like the game show does and hope for no whammies. Springer has stolen, he's 2 for 2 in stolen bases. And again, it's a 1 to 10 chance to get that into scoring position, and he gets it. It's a 1 possible throwing error. Sucre's throwing error is a T6. It's 17, so no throwing error. It is hauled in out there by Cano to keep it from getting out of range. But Springer, his 3rd stolen base of the game. And he's in scoring position for Carlos Correa. Springer will be held at second base. 5-10 against a righty. 5-10's ground ball to short. That's going to end the inning. So he pitches around the stolen base. We go to the bottom of the 8th, still tied at 4. As the Astros and Mariners. And these are getting to be must games for the Mariners because they're still in range, but they're long range out. So they really can't afford to take another L if they can avoid it. So we go to the bottom of the 8th, tied at 8. It'll be Sucre, Marte, and Smith due up. right-left switch. So for the Astros, in back of Mr. Perez, they will go to the aforementioned Pat Neshek. So Neshek is on, the side-winding right-hander. He will be on to pitch. And we may get a pinch hitter for Sucre. I believe we will. He's not a very good hitter, so they want some offense. So they're going to go to the bench, and they will bring on Mark Trumbo to pinch hit, and then Zunino will take over as the catcher. But right now, they want Trumbo out there to hit, and that leaves Gutierrez as the only bench player remaining. So Sucre is out of there. Zunino is the new catcher. Of course, Austin Jackson's already been hurt. So now Trumbo is going to pinch hit for Sucre. And then Zunino will take over behind the plate in the 9th. But Trumbo is going to try to see what he can do. Get something going. 2-6 for Trumbo against Neshek, and he struck him out. So Trumbo failed in the pinch. One down, top of the order for Ketel Marte. Four, 6, switch hitter batting left. 4-6, another strikeout. So Neshek has come in and struck out both batters he has faced, righty and a lefty. Doesn't matter to him. And now Seth Smith, the batter. 2 down. Tied at 4. 6-9. Check Neshek for an injury. I don't think he has to worry about it on something of that number, but we'll verify. For Houston, Neshek is a 12 again, 6-12, so he's okay. 6-9 against a lefty is maybe not okay. That's an in-home run chance on a 1-6. That's a 3. Smith has normal power. Kaboom! Seth Smith just launched one off of Pat Neshek. And it is a 5-4 Mariner lead. And all of a sudden now the Mariners have Carson Smith, their closer, loosening in the pen. And the Astros don't know what to think about that. Neshek just burying his head. Here's Cano. 2-6 for Cano, and that's a walk. So going from bad to worse for Neshek. He started out with 2 strikeouts, and all of a sudden now he's giving up a home run and a walk. Cano will not be held. He's not going to go anywhere. And the dangerous Nelson Cruz, who homered his last time up, is up again. 4-6. This time struck him out. So he strikes out the side, but unfortunately for him, gives up a home run in the interim. And we go to the 9th. Mariners lead it by the score of 5-4. And they will bring in their closer, Carson Smith. Since they traded away their other closer to the Cubs, Fernando Rodney, they now have the new closer, Carson Smith. And Carson Smith did have 13 saves on the season. Apparently most of those came after they traded away Fernando Rodney. So Carson Smith will be on to face Gaddis, Carter, and Lowry, but we could see pinch hitting. Let's see, Gaddis hasn't done so well, so let's see if they're going to bring in somebody to pinch hit. Let's check the averages of the pinch hitters and see who they have remaining. They do have Valbuena and Castro from the left side. Gonzalez is a switch hitter. So let's see, Gonzalez 279. Yeah, we're going to go with Marwin Gonzalez. He's going to pinch hit. He will pinch hit and stay in the game to DH for Evan Gaddis. So Marwin Gonzalez is your pinch hitter in the 9th. Better average. Not as much power, but better average. And Carson Smith is in to pitch. And Gonzalez is in to pinch hit. And Gonzalez stays in to be the DH against Gaddis, to replace Gaddis. All right. Carson Smith, 2-6 to Gonzalez, and he struck him out. So, unfortunately, that didn't work out for the Astros. One away. Brings up Chris Carter. Speaking of home runs, he's had 2 of them this game. So he's got a chance to go for a 3-dog night right here against Carson Smith. 111, nope. 112 would have done it on a 112, but a 111 is a ground ball to short. He just missed it. a 112, and he would have had his third home run. I don't think I've ever had a 3 home run game before, but we would have had one right there. So he is out of there, and that brings up Jed Lowry. Last chance for the Astros. Lowry, 222 hitter. They could bring in Valbuena, and I think they will. They're going to bring in the best they have off the bench, and that is Valbuena. So he will pinch hit for Jed Lowry. It's Luis Valbuena. It's a 224 hitter, not much better than Lowry, but they're going to take a chance. Bring in Valbuena. He can play third base if it goes extra innings, but we're down to the last out, last hope. Last chance. 5-5. Struck him out. Carson Smith gets the job done. And there's your final. 5-4. Mariners get the win. The save goes to Carson Smith. The winner is Mark Lowe, and the loser is Mr. Pat Neshek, as the Mariners get a huge victory. And we'll update the standings in the Demolition League with this victory. With the victory, Seattle now goes to 24-22. Houston drops to 26-20. So they're now only 2 games back of the Astros, and they're only a game and a half back of Boston for the final playoff spot. Top 4 teams get in, but Cincinnati's only 5 back, Seattle now 5.5 back, and Tampa 7 back. So anything can happen. Really, the only 3 teams that are out of it are these 3 teams at the bottom: Arizona, Philly, and San Fran. Everybody else is pretty much still in. Tampa Bay's hanging on by a thread. Seattle, of course, with this victory, really stepped it up, and it's improved their chances. So anything can happen. But Seattle, hard-fought victory. Hey, Brian B., how are you? How are you, Brian B.? Haven't seen you in a while since the last RJL video. I think you, Brian, were one of the ones that were holding up the puns for me while I was not in some of those video chats. So I appreciate you doing a lot of those Chris Berman 1980s puns, like Glenn, no brags, just facts, and things like that. There was one I was listening to this morning from the game last night with San Diego and the Reds, and I was trying to think of the name. And I was shouting out, "No, RJL, it's not. That's not what you call him. You call him this." And I can't think of what the name was now. It escapes me. Or it might have been the Boston-Milwaukee game. I'm trying to remember which game it was. But it was a really good. I thought it was a really good pun, but now the name escapes me. Might have been Rob Deere. I don't remember. I was going to say Rob Deere Abbey, but I think Chris Berman's name was Rob Bombardier. But anyway, there you have it. First time I tried Strat-O-Matic on this board. I really love this board. I can see why RJL loves it. I loved it. I love it also because of the lineup card holder. Some of these cards have fallen out, but the lineup card holder, I've got it over there to my side, and I can see all the ratings. I don't have to write anything down because I can see them around the cards. I don't have to get them out of order when they come off the bases. I can just slide them right back in their original spots, and it just really, really is a good deal. And for anybody wondering about the game itself, the covering of this is kind of worn a little bit, but it's called Baseball Card All-Star Game is the name of it. That's how I found it on eBay. Baseball Card All-Star Game. In fact, I'll flip it around. Baseball Card All-Star Game. And those are the components that come with it. And you're supposed to be able to play it with regular baseball cards, but it comes with these little lineup holders. It comes with the field, and it comes with these little stands because I don't use all that crap. But it came with it. I mean, I guess I could hook them in if I really wanted to, but I think it would be too cumbersome. But that's what it looks like. If anybody can find this on eBay again, it's a great board to use. RJL swears by it, and I'm a believer as well. I think it's a really good thing here. You can see where they've got the card holders for their baseball cards, and you use your own dice and your own baseball cards, you can play the game or whatever. I don't know, but it's called Baseball Card All-Star Game. So if you want to search that on Google or eBay or whatever, that's the name of it. Yeah, John, I'm Not a Crook is a good one. Padres had quite a few good names on that team. Benito El Duce Santiago. Let's see who else was on that team. Randy Reddy. I think there was a. I'm not sure what name RGL used for Randy Reddy. Called him something, but I'm not sure what he called him. But I was going to call him Ever Ready after the battery. Let's see who else was on that team. Oh, the Cardinals had. Who did they have on that team that had a name? I can't remember. Oh well, it all escapes me. But I'll go back. I missed them live, but I did go back and catch them later on. I listened to them at work, so it's always entertaining to listen to RJL at work. I can just drive around and put it on YouTube and just set the phone off to the side and just listen. I don't even have to watch. I can just listen. Rob, Deer in the Headlights. There you go, Astros Reefer. How are you? That's another good one. Deer in the Headlights. Absolutely. There's a lot of those. I mean, not grew up, but I was a young person when Chris Berman was in his heyday. Oh, to Be Young Again, McDowell. Definitely. One of my favorite ones, I think my favorite Chris Berman name was, what was my favorite Chris Berman name? Let's see. It wasn't Vaughn Purple Haze. There was so many of them back in the late 80s. That's why I love that season. Those seasons in the, like 86, 87, 88, that era, there were so many good names, and now I'm drawing a blank on what it was, but I can remember Jim the Hound Dog Presley was another one. Who else? There was a whole bunch of those guys that he would just come up with these names, and I just couldn't figure out how he did it, but he did. I don't know if he, winged it or whether he thought of those things, but he was good at it. He was a legend. He was the best at doing the Sports Center highlights I've ever seen. But anyway, there's Strat-O-Matic. I hadn't played this Demolition League in a while, so I wanted to get it back out. Even though Inside Pitch is now my favorite game, I want to finish this project. We're so close to finishing it now, so I want to finish it up and then get to the playoffs and all that good stuff. And then in April, of course, we got the NBC Game of the Week coming up. And I'm still teeter-tottering between doing the 1987 season or the 1977 season. I'm still teeter-tottering back and forth about which one I should do. So we'll see. I'll have to play it by ear and see how it goes. Next game on the Demolition League, we will then, now after this series, these 3-game series here are over, I'll play these offline. We'll come to this one, and with the way the standings are, if Tampa Bay wins a few games and gets closer to the top of the thing, could be doing the Mets in Tampa. If not, if Seattle keeps creeping up, it might do Seattle and Cleveland again. Or if not, I guess we would have to do New York and Tampa Bay, because really since the Arizona, that's kind of or meh, as RJ would say. Houston, you don't want to do Philly and San Fran. They're way out of there. So might be New York and Tampa is the next round. We'll have to wait and see. But Tampa's got their work cut out for them. They got to play first place Cleveland for a 3-game set. So they got to win. They got to do it against the tough Cleveland Indians, and that's not an enviable task at all. So anything's liable to happen. Burt be home by 11. Burt be home by 11 was another good one, obviously. Let's see. Dan Mann from Gladden was a good one. I'm just going through the Twins now. Jose Blame It on Rijo was a good one. I like Glendo Bragg's Just Fact. I thought was pretty good. I always enjoyed that one. Let's see, who else am I thinking of? Let me think. Eddie Eaton Drinking Me Murray was a good one. Let's see, who else was out there? And usually the players, it was usually the lesser players. It wasn't like the top of the line players. It was usually the secondary players you got these names for. Who else was out there that had a good name? I think it was Frank 100 Strings Viola or something like 101 Strings Viola, something like that. Dwight Johnny B. Gooden. Daryl Rhubarb Strawberry. Let's see, who else? Maybe Wally Backman. Bob the Car Please James. Yep, he's a reliever. Ooh, Bernard Innocent till proven guilty. I like that one. I forgot about Bernard Gilkey. He was a good player for the Cardinals there for a while. Definitely forgot about him. Let's see who else was out there. Rick Chunkmailer. Well, some of the Atlanta Braves now. Rick Chunkmailer. Who else? Dion the Belmont James. I'm trying to think of some of these other guys. Pirates. I'm just going through all the teams all of a sudden. It's just, I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. If I sat down long enough, I would be able to. Ron, born in the USA. That's a good one. I had never heard that one before, Brian. But I like it. Born in the USA. The Penguin. I like that. That's good. Any other Cubs I can think of? Steve Rainbow Trout was one. Who else? Usually, like I said, usually picked obscure players a lot of times to make fun of them, I think. But Kevin Elkesteitzer. Oh, if I just sat down with list long enough, I could probably think of them. But that's good, Brian. You can do that with any of them. Yep, Mike Enough already, or Enough already, I should say. I think we got RJL on the stream with that one, Brian. Let's see. Oh, there's one on the tip of my tongue, and I can't think of who it is, but it was a good one. I think they played for the Giants too, but now I'm drawing a blank. Oh well, it's going to happen. I'll think of it after 20 minutes from now. I'll probably think of it. And actually, it's pretty funny. I saw a truck when I was driving down the road it was a company name, but they had an abbreviation. It was LJR, and of course, what do I think of but RJL? Rupert Along Came Jones? Long Came Jones must have been a TV show I don't know about. Or it sounds vaguely familiar, but of course him and his wife is Me and Mrs. Jones, but I think of who else was out there. George Taco Bell. Like I said, if I start thinking about these things, they'll come to me eventually. But there was one really good one, and now I can't think about it. Oh, it's a song. Okay, Along Came Jones was a song. Okay, I'll have to Google that because that didn't ring a bell. Well, the Phillies had some good ones too. Gary Reedus, I called it Gary Reedus, Not the Temptation. Tonight, let it be Lowenstein for John Lowenstein. Yep, off the Lowenbrow beer. Let's see, who else? There had to be others, and I'm just drawing blanks on all of them. I'm sure there was something with Steve Sachs, like Steve Alto Sax or Steve Sachs Fifth Avenue or something like that. With Steve Sachs. The Yankees. Who was on the Yankees that would have a name? I guess Dave Rigetti and Meatballs would be a little rough. Lowenstein was his favorite. Okay. Lowenstein's a character. If you never heard him announce games, I used to watch him announce the Oriole games, or he was a color commentator on the Oriole games. He was hilarious. Definitely hilarious. I don't know why I can't think of these names now. I'm drawing. I know the Astros had Kevin Smallmouth Bass or Largemouth Bass. I don't know how you wanted to call it. Let's see. I know the Astros had some other guys that had names. Oh, Jim Two Silhouettes on Deshays. I remember that one from the Astros. That was another one of my favorites. Jim Two Silhouettes on Deshays. Let's see, who else is there? I don't know. If I sat down long enough, I'd probably think about it. But anyway, it's getting. What time is it now? It's past 10 o'clock. So, Jose, can you see Cruz? There you go. Astros Reefer. There you go. Jose, can you see Cruz? Anyway, I'm not as much Strat-O-Matic as I used to be now that I found Inside Pitch, but I believe that I think either today or tomorrow or this weekend or maybe Monday that Strat will start taking advance orders for the upcoming season. Mr. Outside Davis, yes, from the Army running back. Sorry about that. Mr. Inside, Mr. Outside. Let's see. Oh, Bill Doran. I remember that name. For the Astros, Bill Doran. Let's see. Where did the Hound Dog Presley? Seems Kansas City had some I was watching the game, highlights between Kansas City and Seattle. Oh, January 30th. Thank you, A. Joseph. Okay, I'm jumping the gun a little bit. I remember watching a highlight of Seattle and Kansas City, and he had the one play had 5 names. Death Valley, I think, was one of them. There was several. Steve Bye. Well, that's not really a name. Craig Reynolds rap. Okay, that's interesting. I haven't heard that one before. But that's a good one. Closer from the 80s. Well, at least that narrows it down to the decade. But who was in the 80s that was a closer? That would have a good name. I know Cleveland had a guy named Ernie Camacho. He used to call him Ernie Macho Camacho. Let's see who else had one. Oh, guy used to pitch for Seattle, I think. No, that's not the guy I'm thinking of. It's somebody else. Steve Bridge Too Far from Kansas City. That was one of them. Trying to think who else was a closer that would have had a good name from the 80s. And that I'm drawing blanks on. I'm just going through all these closers, and I forgot who it was. I'm trying to remember who it was now. Shoot. And of course, I'll think of it 20 minutes from now. It'll come. I'll start thinking of all these names that I can't think of right now. Rich Not Yet. That's a good one for Cleveland as well. Or I guess he pitched most of the time for Cleveland. Yeah, I'm drawing blanks on some of the other names. Yeah, I'm just. Yeah, I just can't think of any other ones off the top of my head. It's just I'm drawing blanks to all of them now. So, Dave Don't LaPointe was also a good one. He was a journeyman lefty. Let's see, who else was out there? I don't remember the rest of them, but anyway, that was fun times back in those days watching Berman highlights in the late 80s, mid to late 80s. I think he even did some in the 90s, but I remember mostly in the late 80s. People are Strange Morrison, absolutely. Jim Morrison of the Pirates or Tigers or wherever else he played. I think Tom Cotton Candiotti was another Cleveland Indian that had a name. Let's see. It was the Governor Jerry Brown that went along with Odubie Young and McDowell from Texas. I think Toronto had a few of them too. George Taco Bell. Let's see who else. Garth Clockwork Orge was one of my favorites. He used to play for Toronto. Let's see. Who else played for them? I don't know. I don't know if RJL still... Moises skipped to Malou. Well, there you go. If RJL is still here, I don't know what his game is tomorrow night. I was going to give him a cheap plug, but he may have checked out already. I don't know. He may have gone to bed. Maybe it's past his bedtime. Old fellow like that probably needs his rest. So, I don't know. I don't know about the rest of them. Fettuccine Alfredo Griffin. I definitely remember that one. Greg Gagne with the spoon. That was another one. From the Twins. Kirby Union Gap Puckett. I don't remember that one. Raleigh Chicken Fingers. I don't remember that one. But Buddy for Whom the Bell Tolls. Don't know if you do that a lot with the... It seemed like the players back then had better names for these kind of things than they do today. But I'm sure they do today if you think about it long enough. But just my memory goes back to those 80s. And getting names like that. Oh, one thing I was going to check here. If anybody does anybody do Inside Pitch PDFs as opposed to printing them out? Because no RJL only buys the printed sets and not the PDFs. I've done a couple PDFs. My cutting skills are maybe not the best in the world, I don't know. But I was just curious if anybody did the PDF versions of Inside Pitch or not. Because it's a lot cheaper, believe me, $15 as opposed to like $60-something. But I mean, again, you have to spend your paper and your ink and your sweat equity time of printing and trimming and all that stuff. But if you only want a certain number of teams, you don't want the whole league, it can be a beneficial thing. You bought 1956 PDF today. Cool. Have you printed anything out, or have you... The reason I ask is I got the PDFs printed here in front of me for 1972, and I was just curious how they would show up on camera. So let me put some of these out here and see how they do compared to their printed counterparts. Let's put somebody like I'm playing a game kind of thing, see how it would look. I don't know if they look that much different than the printed sets or not. Of course, my live stream is only 720p, so it may not be as good anyway. Perforated paper. JT, how you doing, JT? Did you get that off Amazon, or did you go like the office supply store? Because I don't even know where to find that. It'd be cool to get perforated like semi-gloss paper or whatever, but I guess by the time you bought all that paper and stuff, it'd probably be just as cheap to get the printed set. One advantage of the PDF is you get it, a lot sooner than waiting for the mail. Although, now what's the Bob Horner story there, Brian B? RJL did mention that the the printed sets, he got them already from Chris, so they've done 2 types off of Amazon. All right, thank you, appreciate that. And that works well, you say, for PDFs for Inside Pitch or Payoff Pitch or any of those? I'll have to look them up and see, because right now I just have the regular standard 110-pound card stock, and that's it. But they have print lines, but they're not perforated. Oh, that's good. He can't tell how many days he was on a coma for, huh? Bob Horner was a character. I think he was one of the few people that skipped to minor leagues and just went straight from college to the pros. And we all know TBS and Skip Carey and that bunch, that's for sure. All right, appreciate that, JT. Like I said, I printed the 72 season out already. I've got the Reds and the Dodgers here in front of me. So, I mean, they're definitely, they're definitely serviceable. You can certainly, I don't have to look on camera, but in front of me here, they're definitely, serviceable. They're not, obviously not as nice as the printed set from Chris, but you're also not paying, you're also getting them a lot cheaper as well. And the one season I really did it for was 1967 because I only care about the American League, not the National League. Because the American League is 67 is the American League is what really got me into the 67 season, that pennant race and everything. So, oh, cool, thank you, I appreciate that, JT. Because I've got the 87 set inside pitch PDF. Because I'm going to probably be doing the 87 season for the NBC Game of the Week coming up in April, and I've already printed out several teams on the 87 set PDF. I've been contemplating whether I should go ahead and buy the printed set, but if the PDFs come out okay, then I don't see any reason in buying the printed set. I've already got a PDF. I can just print out the teams I need for whatever games I'm playing that particular day. It might save me a little time and money. So, and we all know in today's economy, the way things are going, it's you kind of have to pinch your pennies once in a while. So at least most of us do. But let's see here. All right, playing 74. Aaron hit 20 home runs, has a home run on his card. 100 plus at bats, only 20 home runs. Yeah, the thing about you have to get the home run off the bat, most of the time you have to get the home run off the pitcher card to get to facilitate a home run on the batter card. Like I say, he does have one home run on his card, but that's a 1 in 36 chance to try to get that. So I can see where maybe home runs might be a little down. Although in my 2019 Washington Nationals replay, I thought the home runs and stuff came out pretty good. Just might be, unfortunately, bad luck on rolling dice. But the only complaint I have, and everybody knows it already, the only complaint I have about inside pitch are the left-right splits for certain players that aren't carded left-right, and they should be. But that's a dead horse I don't want to keep beating. So, but other than that, to me, it's, if they had that worked out, then to me it would be a 10 out of 10. But I give it a 9 out of 10 because of that. But I would give it a 10 out of 10 if they didn't have that. If they had the right splits for those platoon players, I would give them a 10 out of 10. But right now I give them a 9 out of 10. Take away 1 for that. Fun factor is a 10. I actually like the base running. People complain about the base running, but to me the base running is what makes the game good, because you just don't have random, fast action card telling you the guy gets 2 bases. You got to earn the bases. You got to go by his speed, where the ball's hit, outfielder arm, and all kinds of good stuff. I'm sure Aaron did with 74. He was winding down his career in 74, so I don't know how many home runs he hit in 74. I guess he was still a pretty good hitter, but he was near he only went 2 more years after that, and then he retired. So, be curious to see what his home runs were like on the card, back in the 60s, 50s, and 60s. But he was never really I think 44 or 45 might have been the most he ever hit. He was pretty much consistent, consistently in the 40s and 30s all the time. I don't think he ever had one year when he had 50 home runs or anything like that. But anyway, I do appreciate all you guys spending part of your Thursday night. I know you're all anxious to get RJL back on the board tomorrow night. Like I said, I don't know what his game is going to be. He may have said it at the end of the last video with Cincinnati, but I don't remember what it was. So I apologize for that. I don't remember what his next game is supposed to be. For some reason I'm thinking no, they just did the Orioles, so it can't be the Orioles. Is it the Indians? I'm thinking it's the Indians. Hey Mark, how you doing? Oh, that board is on eBay again, huh? Is it by itself? Because I had to buy the whole thing. I couldn't just get the board. It cost me like $20. But to me, it's worth it because not only for the board but for the card holders. That's even more important than the board. But this board is small. This board looks a lot bigger on video than it is in actuality. At least I thought it was going to be bigger when I got it. But I'm actually glad it's smaller because it allows me to add more things to the sides of it and fit it on camera. The other board I was using was so big, and this just fits the bill right here to me. But yeah, I would, even if you weren't doing videos, I think it'd be a good board to have. But wow, that's a lot of money if they're charging all that much for it. Of course, this one was used, and like I said, the box was banged up and it's missing part of the scoreboard or something. But I didn't care about all that. I cared about this and the cards, the card holders, I should say. Yes, JT, error on a fly ball to the outfield, the D20 has to be odd for it to be an error. So if a guy has an error rating of 4, the only way you can make an error is on a 1 or a 3. If it comes up as a 2 or 4, it is not an error because it's even. So it's definitely have to go with the odd on that. And that's just one of Chris's rules. And I just never really thought much about it. And it's just the way it is. I like it because you don't usually see a whole lot of drop flies in the major leagues. But yeah, I would definitely say it's too much. I mean, like I said, I think with shipping it was like $22. And I was like on the fence about getting it there, but I'm glad I got it. It's a nice little treat. I would definitely try to find an older one if you could. Yeah, and RJL does. He has a separate thing that came with the Casey's. I guess it's Casey's baseball guys or something that has that scoreboard with the dials and stuff. I was not spending the money for that just to get that board. I don't want to, you know. It's bad enough I'm using this board. If I come up with the scoreboard, he might blow his top. So, and I don't need that scoreboard. I can come up with other ways to do scores. So, granted, he doesn't. His setup is second to none, and you know that's why he's the guru inside pitch. I mean, he's kind of like, I can't remember the last time he played a game other than inside pitch. I mean, he used to be a payoff pitch fan, but I haven't seen him play payoff pitch forever. He did play the Fall Classic a couple times, and I guess got bored with that. And so he's always, kind of gone back to inside pitch. He has the 86 Mets in Strat, super advanced, and he's got all the players. But I haven't seen him play one of that either, so. Thank you, Brian. Well, I just like to do that. It serves two purposes. It reminds me who I have available without scrolling through all the cards. And also for everybody watching, you can kind of maybe think ahead. It's like, okay, who could he use as a pinch hitter? Who could he do whatever? This is a tablet, and it's just an app I got off the tablet. This is a Fire, what is this? Amazon Fire something or other tablet. And it's just an app that I just went onto the App Store and found a scoring app, and I don't even know the name of it actually. Let's see if I can get out of this. Maybe it'll give me a. Can I get out of this? I don't know how to get out of this. I want to get out of here. Get out of here. Let me find it. If I can get out of this. Yeah, it just says virtual scoreboard. It's just called virtual scoreboard is all it's called right here, virtual scoreboard. So I just type on virtual scoreboard and give you the pick sports, and then you can pick whatever You want baseball, basketball, football, whatever. And I just, I'll pick baseball. And like, why is it coming up to the advertise? I don't want that. So baseball, it gives me team 1, team 2 in the inning, and I can just go in and hit edit, and I can change the team names to whatever I want. So if I want, if I want Cincinnati, say, and I want the home team to be Pittsburgh. And there you go. I'm all set. And then when you click to the first 3 outs, that's the top of the first. And then when you click the second 3 outs, it changes to the second inning automatically. It's got balls and strikes on here, but obviously I'm not using that. But that's all it is. It's nothing fancy. That Strat-O-Matic black thing, I'm sorry, I just can't. Even if it was regular price, I wouldn't buy that thing. It just the cards look. I feel like I'm looking at an X-ray. I would much rather have had them do the cards in team colors. That would have been better, I think. But yeah, RJL definitely has a niche of inside pitch because he just fell in love with the game and the way it works, and he's got a great input with Chris. He helped Chris, with some of the rules in the latest update, and he's, kind of giving Chris advice on which season should come out next. To me, I would love to see 1993 come out next, not 1991. Nothing against 91, but to me, 93, you've got the expansion Marlins and expansion Rockies, and to me, that's a lot more intrigue. You got the Phillies with all their muscle-bound bunch with Incaviglia and Hollins and Dykstra and Darren Dalton, John Kruk, all those guys. Like I said, you got the Rockies, you've got the Marlins, you've got the Giants who won over 100 games but didn't make the playoffs because there was no wild card back then. I mean, to me, 93 should be the next one done, but that's Chris's decision how he wants to do that. Yeah, Brian, if you're a big Reds guy, I mean, you got Al Red Sox fan who does Red Sox games most of the time. You got Tony who does Mets games all the time. And you got Dave Gardner. He does a lot of Red Sox games a lot. So, people tend to show what they like. I'd kind of enjoy more of a variety. But everybody does what they like, I guess. Yep, 93 was not there, unfortunately. It goes 90 to 92 to 95. So there's no 93, there's no 91, no 94, no 96, no 97. Hey, Bob B, how are you doing? Nice Cardinal fan. And like you said, Brian, whatever makes you happy. If you want to, I encourage anybody that wants to put a video out, please do it. I mean, I love watching people play the games. I mean, I don't only get to watch it. A lot of times at work, I listen to it, but I still enjoy it, whether it's Appa Brian or IDJ or Al Red Sox fan or Clee baseball fan or Uncle Ron or RJL or whoever happens to be doing a game, whether it's computer or cards and dice, it doesn't really matter to me. It just gives me something to listen to, and it's and sometimes it'll get me in the mood to play something. I'll see a video of something. Oh, let me get that game out. I haven't played that game in a while. Let me get, like if I see after further review do a game of History Maker. Oh, let me get the History Maker game out. Or if I see somebody play something on replay, oh, let me get the replay game out. And that sort of thing. So, but yeah, I encourage anybody that's thought about doing it, go right ahead. I mean, what do you got to lose? It's fun. I mean, I think it's fun. Well, Brian, I know you got the 1990 inside pitch set then, obviously, so they might be able to win something for you. Now Tabby's making noise. Look at Tabby. All right. She wants to make an appearance, so I'll let her make an appearance very quickly just to get her out of the way and have her sit down. So, at least she waited until after the game was over. All right, Tabby, down you go. You had your 2 seconds of having fun. Bob, I appreciate you doing that. Hopefully I'm not boring you to death and that's what's causing you to go to sleep. I mean, I'm not as animated as, say, our Red Sox fan or RJL. I'm kind of more stoic, to use a history maker term, and just more of a narrator, I guess, than a broadcaster. But yep, I agree, Bob. Put those videos out there, Brian. Give it a shot. You know, I would record before I did a live one. If you're unsure, I would record so you can pause and if you have to delete, start over. That way you can review it before you put it on, on YouTube or whatever. Of course, one of the strange things, at least to me, I don't know how it is for RJ or anybody else, but it's really strange to go back and listen to myself down the road. It's very, very strange. But sometimes I have to do it just to, try to improve on what I'm doing and see if I can find some things I can do better. I appreciate that, Bob, but like I said, everybody has their own style. Some people love the Dick Vitale type animation, and everybody's got their own style. It's just whatever comes natural to them. If I try to do that, it just wouldn't go right, because it's just not me. So, but like I said, everybody has their own version of doing things, and yep, as you say, to each their own. So Tabby's just having a fit over here, rubbing against my computer. Trying to catch a current on the microphone, but I don't think it came through as I wanted to. But oh well. Anyway, I don't want to bore you guys to tears, because I'm not much of a conversationalist as, say, RJL is, or Al Red Sox fan, or how those guys do the videos with all they do is get on there and talk is beyond me. That's just way out of my comfort zone. But for those guys, it comes natural to them. Yeah, she does want my attention. She's probably like, it's about time to get ready to feed her or something like that. I don't know. But yes, that is my cat, Mark. Well, it's mine and my wife's cat. Yeah, it's our cat, if you want to call it that. Maybe we're her people. I don't know. She kind of runs the place. So, and my old dog Gracie's still hanging in there, 16 and a half years old. So doesn't get around too good, but she still hangs in there. Did you hear the purring, JT? She can do some serious purring when she's happy. Especially if I pet her a certain way, she'll get to purring and cooing and do all kinds of stuff. I can be playing a game offline, I can be watching TV or whatever, and she'll come up and get right in my face. Snoring Dragon. Nets and Sons on TNT. Yeah, she's something else, that's for sure. But, my wife calls me and Tabby and Gracie the Three Amigos. Every time we come up here to play, it's like the Three Amigos are going to go play. They come upstairs with me and seem to have a good old time. So, yeah, Joseph, I remember a couple of years ago I did that, but that was kind of rough. With the wind was blowing, and the sun was all over the place. Anyway. Well, I certainly appreciate all you guys that stuck with me through the rest of the video and the game itself. I'm going to try to, I mean, I'd taken a break from videos for a while. I'm going to try to get back into a more normal schedule. My wife no longer works on Saturdays, so I don't have the house to myself on Saturdays like I used to. I used to record a bunch of games on Saturday when she wasn't around because I had time and it was quiet. Now I've got to come upstairs, and sometimes that's a pain to have to drag the dog up here and the cat up here and everything else up here. But you know, I may try to see if I can squeeze out a few more videos here coming up, because I really want to get this project finished so I can move on and get ready for the next project, which is coming up in April. And like I said, I'm still trying to decide whether I want to do the 87 season or the 77 season. The thing going against the 87 season is that RJL is now doing 88, so it's so close. The thing going against the 77 season is it's already did a 77 White Sox replay, so I feel like if we play 77 again, it might be, you know, overkill. But I don't know, we'll figure it out. That's half the fun, trying to figure it out. I think I got her purring again now. Scratch her chin, she seems to like that. Too bad the camera's not on her. She's kind of making a face. Alright folks, well I do appreciate all of you that stopped by and spent part of your Thursday evening with me. Like I said, it's very rare I do a live one. It's very, very rare. Most times I record. In fact, I wasn't even going to do a live one, just kind of did it off a whim tonight. I was just doing a record and upload, but I said, what the heck, RJL's not streaming tonight, so why not sneak in while I can. So I do appreciate all you guys tuning in and spending part of your Thursday with me. I hope you all are ready for an upcoming weekend. Some good football games coming up in the playoffs. And college basketball is in full swing, depending on what your sport is, of course, and what you like. Well, I appreciate that, Mark. Appreciate that very much. And, yep, it's like 10:40 or something. I gotta get ready. It's about my bedtime. I gotta get up at 6:30 in the morning. I'm on the East Coast, so I gotta get up. It's like 10:40 now, so 6:30 will be here before I know it. At least tomorrow's Friday, so once I get off work tomorrow, it'll be the weekend and ready to go, and I'll probably do some recording over on Saturday. So, all right. Thank you all again for spending part of your Thursday night. Tabby says thank you as well, I guess. Well, she's thanking me for scratching her chin anyway. I don't know if I can get a... let's see if I can get this down here real quick. I don't know if I can or not. We'll see. See if that's a better picture of Tabby right there. There she is. In my junky room, there she is on her little perch. That she sits on this perch right by the table here while I'm playing. You can see a copy of the Pocket Pin and Run back there as well. So she's something else, that's for sure. So anyway, again, have a wonderful Thursday night. Hope you have a safe weekend. I'll probably try to catch a lot of you guys on the RJL stream tomorrow night, if possible. And so, as Tabby would say, want you all to have a good evening. There again are my little stands for the cards from what I bought. And some people have asked about like what I use as an overhead or whatever. I have this little thing here I bought off Amazon, and that's what holds the camera for me. And then I have this lights over here. Dave Gardner talked talked about these lights one time, and I got them off of Amazon. These little lights right here, they work great. And this little clip where I clip the phone. It's very low tech, so to speak. But that's my setup. So there you go. All right. Again, have a wonderful evening. Until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.